It's time we talk about wood lathe maintenance. Don't do these things I'm about ready to share with you. Hi, I'm Kent and welcome to Turn a Wood Bowl. I'd like to say that I'm really meticulous about maintaining my lathe, but the truth is I usually don't think about it until something's acting up on the lathe. Usually it's my banjo and I go to move my tool rest and it doesn't want to slide, and I loosen the banjo lock and I gotta force it around and get frustrated, and then I finally give in and I say, you know what, it's time to stop and clean the lathe and clean the rails and do all the maintenance we need to do on the lathe. Now, the really cool thing about it is it doesn't take that long, but you get really great results, especially if you've experienced that stuck banjo and having to force it around on your lathe. That's not fun. But it only takes a little bit to take care of that. So I've got 6 things for us to not do when we are dealing with lathe maintenance. And number 1 is don't ignore your owner's manual. I know, boring, I hear you. The owner's manual can seem really, really boring. I totally get it. But guess what? There's some little hidden gems in here. And you don't have to look at the whole manual if you don't want to. Just fast forward to the maintenance section and look there, because you're probably going to find specific maintenance recommendations for your lathe that might be different than my lathe. So you're going to want to check that out first. Your manufacturer is going to give you the best advice for taking care of your particular lathe. Now, if you have a secondhand lathe, or if you bought a lathe at a garage sale, or you just don't have your manual, well, guess what? The internet has pretty much every manual for anything that's ever been manufactured. And all you have to do is search the manufacturer and the model of your lathe, and then in the search also include manual or owner's manual. It's that simple. You're probably going to find your manual pretty quick. It's usually in a PDF form, so you can print it out and you can bring it out to your shop just like this, and you can go through it and you can see all those details for your specific lathe. Okay, tip number 2, don't leave a mess around. Blow away any debris. And if you have any rust on any of your equipment, you can use this Sandflex block. This works really well for basically scraping away any rust or debris that you have on metal surfaces. You can also use a product like Top Saver. This product will break away rust and it'll dissolve it on metal surfaces. This is also great for a bandsaw or your table saw surfaces. If you've got rust on those, you can spray this on it, and you can use some steel wool, or you can use a Sandflex block to scrape away that rust. Either way, you want to not leave messes around. Whether it's dust, shavings, or rust, you want to clean up your messes. Okay, number 3 is don't forget about hidden places. Now, specific to my lathe and the instruction manual that I have for my lathe, they inform me that I need to clean out the pulley underneath this belt, and that requires loosening the motor, lifting it out of place, and moving the belt aside so that I can clean any debris that might be trapped underneath that. If you could see, I have a grooved belt here, so any debris in there could cause issues with the belt. All right. Another forgotten about hidden place is the Morris taper. What you can do is you can simply take a small stick and a piece of cloth and wrap it around that and clean out the Morris taper really well. We don't want there to be any debris inside the Morris taper, because it could potentially make the fittings or the chucks that you put in here or the drives off-centered and turn inaccurately. So we want to keep that as clean as possible. So we can clean out the Morris taper real well, make sure there's no debris or anything that's left inside there. Okay, number 4, don't tolerate any friction. If your banjo is giving you troubles moving, doesn't want to move freely, that's not acceptable. What we need to do is we need to clean our rails really well. I'm using a 4/0 or 0000 steel wool, and I'm going to clean these rails really well and make sure there's no debris or any nicks or anything of that nature. Clean those really well, and I'm going to take the tailstock and the banjo off the lathe. I'm going to make sure these rails are nice and clean. And now I have the tailstock upside down, and I'm going to clean the contact areas where the tailstock rides on the rails. And you can actually see there's a little buildup right here. Let me get down in all those little grooves, clean those out really well. I'm going to look on the sides of the locking mechanism here as well. And I'll do the same with the banjo. There's a product called Tool Cleaner that works really good for breaking up some of this debris, cleaning surfaces. By the way, I'll have a link for all these products in the description below, so check that out. Go look at the description below and I'll have all the products marked there. If you like this video, do me a huge favor, click that like button. It helps my channel out with the YouTube algorithm, and it would do me a huge favor if you could click that like button. I would greatly appreciate that. While I'm down here, I'm going to spray a little silicone on this shaft so that the locking mechanism will slide a little bit freer on that. A great product to use to lubricate the rails and the bed of the lathe is a simple paste wax. And the way this goes on is basically you rub some in, let it set for a few minutes, and then we're going to buff it out. I'm going to also apply some to the bottom of the tailstock and the bottom of the banjo. And this just needs to go on the edge that will be contacting the rails of the lathe. Now let's see if that made any difference. It just floats around now. Fantastic. And we'll put the tailstock up. Also very smooth. Another place to lubricate is the quill of your tailstock. What you can do is extend the quill out, and then you can spray it with lubricant. That'll help that ease in and out of the tailstock a lot easier. If you have more troubles with your tailstock, the quill will come out all the way and you can clean the entire portion of the tailstock. But that's not something you need to do on a regular maintenance basis unless you're having problems with the tailstock. So I run this in and out a few times and it helps get that lubricant on the quill. Okay, number 5, don't be a cross threader. What do I mean by that? Pay attention when you're attaching a chuck or a faceplate or any other accessory to the headstock threads. Bring the chuck or whatever you're putting on the headstock up to the headstock and then turn the hand wheel. Don't turn the chuck. Turn the hand wheel until the chuck is seated. That way you've got a nice smooth connection with the threads the whole way. Where people get in trouble, and one of the best ways to really get in trouble is to lock the headstock, have a chuck, or worse, have a faceplate with a large bulb blank on it, come up here and start fiddling with it and try to get it started, and you're going to start damaging threads. Okay, so 2 things you want to look for is you want to keep your chucks and your faceplate threads clean. You could take a soft wire brush like this brass wire bristle brush and make sure that those threads are cleaned out. You can also take the air compressor and blow air through there and clean those out on a regular basis. That's going to prevent there from being any catches in there or any debris that's going to cause any damage to the threads. Now, in the event that you see a scratch or a nick on your headstock threads, what you're going to want to do is you're going to fix that as quickly as possible. I found this nice little metal file that will fit inside these threads, and what can be done is you can take and you can smooth out an area that's been scratched or damaged and bring your headstock threads back to new so that they will accept all of your chucks. But you want to be really careful with this, with the threading here, and make sure this whole area stays clean as well. Number 6, don't tolerate any bumps or knocks. Your tool rest is your physical connection and your stability while you're turning anything on the lathe. And if the tool rest is compromised in any way, it's going to interrupt your connection with the wood that you're turning. So if your tool rest has any nicks or scratches or bumps in it, and you're gliding your tool across there, you're going to feel those nicks and they're going to change the path of your tool. We don't want that. So what you're going to need to do is inspect the top edge of your tool rest. If you find a nick or an issue, take a metal file and work that file across the area until you've smoothed out that nick and made it just completely continuous and as smooth as possible. Now, this particular tool rest is made by Robust, and this is a hardened steel bead on here. So believe it or not, I don't have any nicks on here. So I'm not going to start grinding or trying to file this with this particular file. If your tool rest is a cast tool rest, there's a chance you're going to find some nicks and scratches in there. If that's the case, you're going to just want to systematically move down the tool rest and smooth it out so you've got a nice surface for your bull gouge or whatever tool you're using to glide across uninterrupted. You do not want the tool rest and the bumps from those nicks and those cracks to interrupt your process while you're turning. There you have it. There are 6 things to not do when it comes to wood lathe maintenance. And I know doing maintenance on your lathe is not the most exciting thing. It's definitely not as exciting as turning a wood bowl, but it needs to be done. And you need to do it in intervals where it's not too long so that you start having issues with your banjo or your tailstock not moving freely. And you want to make sure that you get everything running properly and keep it all in tune. And hopefully this video showed you how to do that. Now, all the items that I used in this video, plus some other optional items, are going to be listed in the description below. And there's links for those if you want to go check those out. If you've liked this video, do me a huge favor and click that like button. If you're not subscribing, click the subscribe and click the bell, because you'll be notified when my next new video comes out. And leave me a comment. Let me know, do you clean your lathe or do something different? Or better yet, have you researched your manual and found a maintenance recommendation that's a little bit different than what I showed you here? And if you have, leave me a comment below and let me know what that is. I'd be curious to find out what you do differently with your lathe. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, happy turning.